KSWV Radio 99.9 FM, 810 AM. So honored and privileged to have our own United States Senator Ben Ray Luján joining us today. Good morning, Senator.
Well, Esteban, it's always an honor to be with you, and thanks to you and to Keswabe for the work you do in keeping us informed and entertained. So good to join you.
Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure as well. Now, I know a big last couple of weeks have taken place, most notably the American Rescue Plan, Senator. Tell us some of your thoughts on the American Rescue Plan.
Well, first off, Esteban, we know that people all across New Mexico have been hit hard because of COVID. And it's now been over a year that we started to learn about COVID, but to feel its impact. A lot of our loved ones have lost family members where they're no longer with us. Small businesses have been hit hard. Kids now, they know they're going to be going back to school, but there was a year where they were not. And this was through no fault of their own. So it was important after we passed the 5 previous pieces of legislation to provide relief for COVID. I know what people in New Mexico have been telling me, and it's that they were still hurting and that there was more relief that was needed. Hence, the promise by President Biden to say if he was elected president that we would deliver on this significant investment for the American people to get more money for getting vaccines in people's arms. And in New Mexico, we're leading the way right now under Governor Michelle Luján Grisham and the state employees and healthcare officials and those on the front line, the support of the National Guard and everyone who is helping to get vaccine in people's arms, all the nurses and doctors. Now 1 in almost 3 New Mexicans have had at least their first shot, and that's encouraging. There's more money now to help get more vaccine in people's arms, more contact tracing, and more investment in rural health communities, and that's going to be significant. Number 2, there was also direct payments to the American people. So folks across New Mexico, if you're in a single household and you're making $75,000, if you're in a dual household making $150,000 or less, you qualify for $1,400 payment, direct payment. And you also get that for your dependent children and also dependent adults. That's going to be important. That's on top of the $600 at the end of the year, which gets $2,000 over a short period of time. And many of the listeners, Esteban, have already received that direct payment. And if not, they'll be receiving it soon. There was also, go ahead.
Senator, I know that one of the important issues here in New Mexico, obviously, is our agriculture economy. I know that that is something that's front and center as we have lots of farmers and ranchers, and that there are provisions, I believe, in this American Rescue Plan to address some of that.
So I worked with Senators Booker and Senators Warnock, and of course our chair of the Ag Committee, Stabenow, to include a provision that provided support to Hispanic, Native American, and Black farmers as well, where they had previously been discriminated from programs that had been implemented, especially under the Trump administration, where they didn't qualify for a lot of that financial relief. And so that's going to make a difference in the lives of families and farmers and ranchers across New Mexico, and we'll be working to get that implemented. And then, Esteban, just one of the other pieces of the whole package was the child tax credit. That's going to be made available to everyone across our state, also earning $75,000 or less, $150,000 or less as a couple. And that increases that tax credit from $2,000 to $3,000 for every child that you have between the ages of 6 and 17, and up to $3,600 increase from $2,000 for those under 6 years of age. And it also expands that coverage for folks that didn't qualify before. It's been estimated that that'll lift about 50% of those facing poverty today out of poverty. So direct payments, child tax credit, child care credit as well. Those are important programs that are transformational in our communities, and I would argue desperately needed.
One of the most recent headlines that we saw was your appointment as subcommittee chair, I believe, on technology. Can you tell us what the official title is of that subcommittee and your work on bridging the digital divide?
So it's the Subcommittee on Communication and Broadband, which has jurisdiction over the internet, over the FCC, expanding connectivity across America, and a goal that I have, Esteban, which is getting 100% of the country connected with fast, affordable internet. I think that's how we have to be talking about this. It'll allow us an opportunity to be able to close that homework gap, where we now know students across the country, especially in rural and tribal communities that did not have access to the internet, but even those that live in communities that are connected, it's unaffordable. And so I look forward to working with my colleagues. We're going to be having a hearing coming up in the next week or so, Esteban, with a full committee hearing on broadband and connecting the country. And that has jurisdiction over wireless companies, over so many different areas. And as we talk about the FCC, as you know, that's an important conversation that we need to have with family-owned radio across New Mexico, because it impacts your lives every day. And so that's why I appreciate the expertise that I have with the Gonzalez family and so many others that own family-owned radio stations across our state.
Well, thank you so much for that, Senator. We know that the American Rescue Plan as well had issues that we have seen as a country that dealt with behavioral health. That was a concern of many parents. I know as a parent and our children were concerned about behavioral health. I know that our entire communities are out there. I believe there are some provisions as part of this rescue plan for behavioral health, wasn't there?
That's correct, Esteban. So as we talk about healthcare and what the American Rescue Plan presents, not only does it provide more support to get vaccine in people's arms and to do that contact tracing so we know who may have been exposed to COVID, but it makes investments in mental behavior health and rural health clinics and understanding how tough this has been on families. And we already had a need for mental behavior health investments in our country. But what I would say about that, Esteban, is just to remind everyone that it's okay to not feel okay. And what I mean by that is there's such a negative stigma over mental behavioral health care. If you're having trouble sleeping, if you're having nightmares, if you see a change in behavior in yourself or in your loved ones, it's okay to go and talk to a mental behavioral health specialist and get some help and get some support. Everyone needs it. And we also have to understand that that's just as important as going to get your physical or going to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned. You have to take advantage of these important programs, and these investments help make that more accessible. In addition to that, Esteban, if people can't afford to get coverage, then they're not able to go get this care. The American Rescue Plan also provides additional financial support to low-income and middle-income families to make healthcare more affordable. And so that's another way that this plan is going to help increase access to healthcare, which I think is really important, including mental behavior health.
We're visiting with United States Senator Ben Ray Luján. And Senator, I know our time is coming to a close. Time moves really, really quickly. But yesterday was a huge historic moment for our country. I know that you presided over the U.S. Senate for the confirmation of Deb Haaland as our next Interior Secretary. Can you share some of your thoughts on yesterday and what it means to not only our country but to you having presided over the Senate and obviously to New Mexico?
Most certainly, Esteban. It was a very proud day yesterday. Not only was I honored to speak on the U.S. Senate floor in support of now Secretary Deb Haaland, the first Native American secretary to serve in any cabinet in the history of the United States, our very own United States representative and friend, and now Secretary Haaland. But to be able to preside over the floor during that vote and to gavel in that vote total. And what I have with you here, Esteban, is something that I'm actually going to share with Secretary Haaland. I kept the note, and I just grabbed this out of the drawer. So this is what was handed to me when I read that vote total announcing Secretary Haaland's confirmation in the Senate. And then these were the vote recommendations that were put on the tables for us as senators. And it's just an example sometimes of those little pieces of history that sometimes just get thrown away. But because this was so important and so historical, I'm glad that I thought about this and I asked to save these so I could share these with Secretary Haaland to preserve them, to help tell that story of the day that she was confirmed in the United States Senate. So very proud for me to be a part of such a special day, but for the country to now get to know our very own Deborah Ann Haaland, the new Secretary of the Department of Interior.
It was nice to see you sporting the bolo tie yesterday.
That was my father's bolo tie, Esteban. So my dad, who you knew well, he passed away over 8 years ago with about stage 4 lung cancer. But while he was serving as the Speaker of the House, Dad was an iron worker, he was a welder. But while he was serving as the Speaker of the New Mexico House of Representatives, during his last year serving, his colleagues got together and they commissioned that bolo tie, which is a celebration of New Mexico's statehood. And I bring that out on special occasions. And yesterday was definitely a special occasion for me to have Dad with me, for me to have New Mexico with me, and to have a little bit of turquoise on the U.S. Senate floor in celebration of the confirmation of Deb Haaland.
Definitely noticed some senators telling you they liked your bolo tie. So that was really nice to see as well.
Well, hopefully we'll start a trend and we'll see more U.S. senators wearing bolo ties on the Senate floor. They weren't always allowed, Esteban. There's actually a little bit of history to bolo ties being recognized as being allowed through the decorum of the United States Senate and even through the U.S. House of Representatives. So I'm happy to be able to continue that tradition of making sure that New Mexico and our state tie are well represented on the Senate floor.
One more issue, Senator, before we let you go. I know getting the vaccination is so important. We're seeing some numbers decrease in our country as far as infections, but we still have to keep it up. I know that it's important for people to sign up to get vaccinated. Wanted your thoughts on that.
Most importantly, Esteban, and so folks can go to the Department of Health website in New Mexico to be able to sign up to get that vaccine. And now I know not everyone has access to the internet. And that's why I want to encourage you to reach out to my office if you're having trouble finding where to sign up to get in line for your vaccine. And especially for seniors, Esteban, what I learned from some nurses out in Union County when I was visiting with them about the incredible work they were doing out there getting vaccines in people's arms, they shared with me that a lot of seniors were having a tough time signing up. And so what I did is I brought that to the attention of our governor and the New Mexico Department of Health. They made some changes, and this weekend, actually, they hosted their first drive-in so that seniors could go through that to get signed up for the vaccine. And this week, I'm having my staff trained on how to sign people up so that way we can help seniors across New Mexico sign up to get that vaccine. But please get that vaccine as soon as you're able to sign up so you can get notified. It's going to be the key in what we can do to curb COVID-19. And the sooner that we get more people vaccinated, the sooner that things will get back to this new normal, Esteban. It's going to be critically important.
Well, United States Senator Ben Ray Luján, we really appreciate the opportunity to be visiting with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Esteban. And congratulations to you and to Adi and the Quesuave family on this new podcast. And also on bringing in a little bit of video into how you're going to be reporting now. I think that's critically important, and it's good to see the station continue to expand how many people stay in touch with you. I know that I have the Quesuave app on my phone, and I even get a chance to listen to you when I'm flying on the airplane on Southwest Airlines flying to our nation's capital. So it's great to be able to catch up on Quesuave and to listen to you all. And it's good to hear that Patricio is showing up to work on time as well.
That's right. We have a problem with him and me sometimes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Senator. We appreciate your time.
Take care, sir.
God bless you.